What's up, Drop Pod listeners? As always, you can listen to the Drop Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Pods. We're now on Amazon Music, Audible, and Pandora as well. New episodes drop every Wednesday. You can also find all of our content on YouTube at the Drop Golf Podcast and on our socials. That's Instagram and Twitter at the Drop_pod. No matter how you consume us, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Follow and listen along.
This episode is brought to you by the Law Office of Mallon and Tranger. Tom Mallon and Randy Tranger are board-certified trial attorneys who share more than 40 years of legal experience. They specialize in personal injury matters, workers' compensation cases, and criminal and municipal offense. As certified trial attorneys, they've recovered millions of dollars on behalf of people injured in accidents and employees injured at work. They have offices conveniently located in Freehold and Point Pleasant. For skilled and personalized legal representation, call Mallon and Tranger at 732-780-0230 or check out their website at tmallonlaw.com. Not only are they good people, they're good golfers too.
I was trying to hold my laugh.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Porro, and this is Ryan Kulot.
What's going on, everyone? Hope we all had another great week. We got a couple things to talk about, and then we're going to send you to our interview with 2023 New Jersey AM winner Jack Wall. Jack's third time on the show, so we're pretty familiar with him, to say the least. And but we talk about the AM and his win and kind of a whole slew of things. So make sure you're sticking around to listen to that. But before we get into that, we want to remind you guys that we have limited edition Drop Podcast polos at flukeapparelco.com. Go check them out. We've been pushing them. I feel like it's starting to trend, spiral downhill or the snowball effect, where like more people are starting to see them, more people are talking about them. They're really, really good. The material's excellent. Jack was wearing it in the third round at the AM, and they're awesome. They look great. They feel great. We have mentioned if you're bigger like me, you're going to want to size up. If you're a small fella like Mike, regular size is fine for you. But they are a little bit of that like athletic fitting cut. With the spandex kind of material. So they're awesome, but just keep that in mind if you're purchasing one of them.
And to echo that point, Ryan, I mean, listen, I can't tell you how many listeners and followers have DM'd me pictures of them wearing them, of them getting them, or even, text messages of them wearing them on the golf course. Like, I can't emphasize it enough. Like, it's not just a average polo that you're wearing because it has our logo on it. It is a very high quality shirt that you can wear. And I can't emphasize it enough that if you do get one, listen, DM me the picture, send me the picture. We love to see it. We want to keep pushing them out there because just like anything, the more eyes and ears get on this and get on the podcast, the better that it becomes. So again, go check it out. flukeapparelco.com. Right there in the golf collection, you'll see ours right there. 3 different colors, 3 different designs. Go check it out. Go pick one up today.
So the New Jersey State Open is currently going on. This episode's coming out Wednesday, so we're going to have a winner today. But we did want to throw a good luck to everybody who's participating. We got a crew of guys. I think we got a nice little stable of guys, Mike, that we've interacted with, had on. Like I mentioned at the top here, we've had Jack on 3 times, and we're starting to get a crew of people. And so best of luck to them and really everybody in the field. It's awesome that people have qualified to get there and all that. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing couple days, or has been an amazing couple days. By the time this comes out. So best of luck. And whoever does win, you're going to be expect a DM or a text or an email, or we're getting in touch with you because you're coming on the show. So get ready for it. All right, like I said, we talked to Jack for nearly an hour, so we're gonna throw you right to Jack, our interview with him. Again, Jack's an amazing young man with an extremely bright future. Winner of the 2023 New Jersey Amateur at Manasquan River Golf Club, Jack Wall. Enjoy.
So today's guest is a 3-time guest on the show, and I think that speaks to the accomplishments that Jack Wall has had in the past, 10 months or so. Today's guest is the reigning and recent New Jersey State Golf Association's amateur champion, Jack Wall. Jack, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, Jack, thank you. Awesome to have you again.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. I think when we talk about having guests on it, the idea is like, let's try to get as many different people, up and down the state as we can. But I think in terms of your accomplishments the past 10 months, and maybe even less than that at this point, it's hard not to have you on as much as we are. So, I mean, like, how are you feeling, before we even get into the AM, like, how are you feeling mentally, physically, emotionally going through everything?
Tired. That's definitely one of the most frequent emotions and feelings is just exhausted and tired. But in the end, like, I'm playing so much golf and I love playing so much golf that, like, doesn't matter to me. And so much has been going on. Like, there's so many opportunities, so many tournaments to play that, like, it's hard to pick and choose. It's hard to miss some because you'll look at leaderboards and be like, oh, what would I have shot? So I wouldn't have it any other way, put it that way.
How often are you getting out in tournaments right now? I know you just got back from the Southern Am, and I know that the New Jersey Am was just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it is now. Like, was there something in between? Like, how often are we doing something every week?
I'm kind of in the busy part of my summer schedule. So the State Am really started this little stretch. So State Am played in the Southern. So that was, it was supposed to be 72 holes, 4 days. And then you got to throw in a practice round. You got to throw in travel. So really, I was there Monday. So they're long trips. They're not short. They'll beat you up. And then State Open obviously tomorrow, so right into it with that, and then a couple days off, and then traveling out to Chicago for the Western, and that'll be kind of the last part of my my little stretch for the summer. And it was good before the State Am. I had like probably two weeks where I could just hang out at home and play some fun golf, hang out with friends, really have a summer, which is good because we're so busy during the college season and it's nonstop. So you really do have to, budget some time, take a break, get away from it. And, I somehow find myself at a golf course, but there's a huge difference between, social fun golf and competitive golf. So just kind of budgeting that time for the summer was really important.
So I actually want to come back to the Western Open in a minute, but when does with this stretch of having so much golf in such a short amount of time, when does what's the time then in between that and your college season starting?
So basically, I think we have to be back at school. I think the first day of classes are like August 23rd. So I'll have some time after the Western Am to kind of, enjoy home a little bit and then recharge the batteries and head off to school the 22nd or 23rd, whatever it is. And then I think our first event's middle of September. So there's a little time there. Once we get back to school, qualifying and kind of all that stuff comes up quick because you're kind of you're being tossed in a million different directions with trying to get cleared to play, figuring out classes, just kind of all that stuff gets a little hectic. So, but there's a good amount of time, and Texas Tech has done a fantastic job with us with scheduling and making sure that we're not too stressed, which is nice.
Dude, that is a loaded probably 5 week schedule. I mean, when you think about like the state am here in New Jersey, and no offense, I know we'll get deep into that aspect of this, but like not only just like you playing in the state am, but like it's family, it's friends, it's the members, it's the professional staff. It's like everybody's there, and no offense, like you were that guy in terms with that scarlet letter on your back, like you should win this in everybody's mind. And then the fact you have to go out and do it, and it's not 72 holes, it's 3 additional holes for the playoff. And then you're gearing all these things back into it where you got the Southern Am, and then you got the State Open, and then you got the Western Am, and oh, by the way, then school starts up again. Like that is a stretch, for anybody, let alone like a golf junkie that is like a golf all in. So like I can only imagine like the mental side of things where you're just like, dude, I need to shut down, I need to wind down, and I just need to be a kid at times.
Mhm. Yeah, these local events, the NJSGA stuff, the Met stuff, it's almost like it is like taking a break. Like the state am being at Manasquan, like I'm sleeping in my own bed. I'm happier than I ever have been on a golf course. I mean, ever since I think it was 2012 when Manasquan hosted the state open. I've always wanted, I saw Jerry and Ethan play and I was jealous. Like I wasn't old enough. You know, I just remember that week being like, I just want to play one event in Manasquan, and to have it this year is pretty cool. But I mean, it's so relaxed and I'm so comfortable at Manasquan that like it was basically just a couple fun days playing golf. Like it didn't feel like a, real competitive, probably not until Wednesday when, we're getting to the end of it. But so like the state am and state open more are relaxing, and it's almost like I can focus on being competitive in those tournaments, but I can also focus on like these are recharging my batteries because I'm seeing friends. I'm playing with a bunch of my close friends and we're having fun. So yeah, it was a good schedule. I liked how I kind of did it this summer. So hopefully I can do it in the future.
Equity 3 Real Estate is a full-service commercial real estate brokerage, management, and development company based out of Paramus, New Jersey. Equity 3 Real Estate focuses heavily in northern New Jersey. They cover industrial, multifamily, office, retail, and vacant land properties, as well as specializing in medical offices. They manage over 400,000 square feet of varying property types for passive investors. Their clients range from small to mid-range building owners and larger brokerages. So if you're looking for the right team to help you win, go check them out at www.equity3re.com or give them a call at 201-261-4300. That's 201-261-4300. You won't be disappointed.
Jack, I was there on Monday, as you saw, and as I've already talked about. Watching you out there at Manasquan, exactly what you just said is the feel you got. Like, this is a pressure-packed situation. You could tell that people were nervous. You could tell that tournament golf brings in its own slew of things as it is, but you just looked like you were having such a fun time out there. Especially the round I watched with Pat and Will. It looked like you were having just a Saturday morning round. That hey, we're gonna play. We're gonna play a 10-10-20 match and have fun. It was just like it was so. I thought you did a great job of not letting any of that pressure that could very easily leak in. You did a great job of controlling that, as someone rightly predicted on this show. But that was the most impressive thing that I saw there.
Well, that was my main goal of the week. Like my golf game was, if I showed up with my A game, my B game, like it really didn't matter to me at that point because I'm so familiar with the course. I don't really have to think much about playing. It's not like, a course that I have to travel to where I haven't played it too much. So I don't know the bounces. I don't know the plays off certain tees. So, I could go out there and not think about a thing, relax, have fun, laugh a couple times with, Pat and Will. That's always a good time. But that was the main goal of the week, was just to kind of tune out everything from the outside and have fun and play Manasquan how I would normally play it on a Saturday morning. Like I wasn't going to change any, of my game plan just because, I felt pressure or so I just acknowledged it was there and then moved on from it because that's all you can do. If you get caught up in that stuff, it's very easy to, let it affect how you play. And, I'm very happy with how I handled it. So.
Yeah, like I said, it was the most impressive thing because it is very easy to get bogged down by those kind of things, especially when your mind is at ease with so many other things. It's easy to let your mind fill up with other stuff and whether it's positive or negative, but not allowing that to filter in. It was really super impressive. So really
let's dive into the tournament because I think like anybody, and I know it's a constant theme on here, like I am an avid watcher. I am always refreshing Golf Genius, trying to get like what's going on. Like I did it this week for you at the Southern Am, like seeing you make the cut there was just like huge. So like I'm always checking these scores. And I think when I like look back at the State Am here in New Jersey, like I felt like it was like, and I know this may seem like a crazy analogy, but like I felt like it was like a Tiger Woods approach where you weren't looking to go out there and shoot 65 round one and just run away with the thing. It was like you prodded along, like you were right there in the shadows, and everybody knew that Jack Wall knew the golf course in and out. And it wasn't like you did anything that was like a super like, oh, he made eagle and hold out on 4. Like it wasn't anything like that. So like when you look back at like your Monday and Tuesday round leading up into that final day, like I know you shot 72 the first round, you're still, a few back of the leaders. And then when you got into Tuesday, if you take away that triple on 17, you still shoot 1 under. Like what was your thought process after Monday and Tuesday heading into that, final day?
I mean, the State Am I've played in enough State Ams where I know exactly what to expect. And Monday and Tuesday are all about kind of surviving and putting yourself in a position where, you don't have to go out there and have a 5-shot lead going into Wednesday to, feel comfortable with it. Like just survive the first 2 days, be in contention, and then get to work on Wednesday. It's a long day. You got 36. It's, that people are gonna, get tired. They may struggle, especially with how tough the golf course was playing. So it was basically just stay in it and then Wednesday take advantage of, being at your home course and have fun with it. And that's all you can do. And then see how it works out in the end.
That's something that I talked about, Jack. Did you feel like being someone who plays and practices as much golf, like did you feel like people were kind of falling around, like you're just kind of the last person standing because that last day is grueling, but you've already had 2 grueling days ahead of it. Did you feel like you were just kind of able to let people get, and I don't want to like call anybody out of shape or whatever, but like 4 rounds of golf in 3 days is a lot of golf. So like the swing gets a little tired. Yours is able to withstand that. Were you able to just kind of watch some people kind of fall away or know that like, all right, someone had a great day on day 1. They're not going to be able to do that on round 4 or in round 4.
There's not, I mean, you don't really expect anybody to, fall back or struggle. You just expect them to go play well, especially, you see those guys who were playing well at the beginning of the week. Like you fully expect those guys to continue to play well. I think it put my mind at ease knowing that the golf course was playing so tough, like seeing it in the morning and it getting a little windy towards the afternoon, on Wednesday. Like you could kind of sit there and be like, if I shoot 2 under, I'm going to be gaining on the field. And, it's very easy to go out on Manasquan with those conditions and, shoot 1 or 2 over and not even play that bad. So, it's more of just focus. It was just focusing on myself, going out there. It was a great pairing, being with Stammy. um, was fantastic. And it was just like another round of golf, which was great. But yeah, just go out there, focus on myself, on my game, execute some shots, and see where it put me.
And I think leading into that final day, obviously before we get into the round, I do want to personally thank you for rocking one of those polos. I know that I think you echo this, that, Fluke apparel, the material, the clothes, everything is like very, very nice material, the whole nine. So it's not so much just like the gear, but like seeing you out there, I think in that polo, first off, I know Ryan and I greatly, greatly appreciate that.
The shirt is great. It turned out great. The design, the feel, fit, everything, it turned out perfect. And happy to wear it that Monday or that Wednesday in the morning. I mean, could have had to rep Manasquan in the afternoon, so had to do that. But it
That was a no-brainer. I knew that was a no-brainer.
was,
Listen, it was a huge win to see you in it. Nonetheless, forget about like which round it was, first, second, third, or fourth. Like seeing you in it was like, wow, okay, that is like, and like, and I think that's kind of something in terms of like Fluke apparel specifically. Like, it's not something that Ryan and I have just like said it's good stuff, it's good material, it fits well. But seeing someone like you wear it and echo the same sentiments that we do, I think further justifies the material and the product itself.
now Chris at Fluke does a fantastic job, and the shirts are great. And I know he's got a lot of stuff in the works, so everybody should be on the lookout for that gear that's coming out. But on it, I mean, all my experience with Fluke and with Chris has been incredible. And I mean, you guys and his partnership, and it's really cool to see, and to wear it is great.
All County Exteriors is a third generation premier exterior home remodeling company celebrating over 40 years in business. In a remodeling world where the average remodeling company only survives in business for only 5 years, All County Exteriors has stood the test of time, providing their customers with top quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors. They service homeowners and builders with anything from small repairs to large additions. All County Exteriors is not just limited to construction. They have a deep passion for giving back to their community and are charitable supporters of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Cancer Society, Roofs for Troops, and Parents of Autistic Children. If you have planned to do any exterior remodeling, call the experts at All County Exteriors for a free, no obligation estimate for your project. Just call 732-370-2780 or email them at info@allcountyonline.com. That's 732-370-2780 for All County Exteriors for all your remodeling needs. Yeah, so let's get into the final round. The third round for me was all about the shirt. I saw it, I loved it, and the fact is, you didn't play poorly at all either. It was 2 birdies, 2 bogeys, just a solid round of golf. Love that. But let's get into the final round, because I was getting a gazillion texts about what was going on throughout the round, because I don't know if it was your job or Stammy's job, nobody was putting in the scores. So I had no clue what was going on, but people are texting me like, oh, Jack just birdied 7, he birdied 8. And I'm like, all right, so now I'm going through the mix. And they're like, oh, he's on the back 9 and he birdied 12 and 13. And I'm looking at the scores and it still hasn't nothing updated. And I'm texting Ryan, I'm texting this guy, I'm texting that guy, like trying to figure out what's going on. And obviously, when you get to the final 4 holes, and this is something that I said a few weeks back as the preview, like those 4 holes to finish the round were going to make or break whether someone won or lost the round. And I think the birdies that you made on 12 and 13 that kind of led into 15, obviously after you 3-putt and make double on 15, right? What's your thought process going into the 16? Because I know that 16 was another struggle. Like, is that playing a mental game in your mind saying like, oh, is this slipping out of my fingers a little bit?
First, initially, yes, I'm like, oh my, I can't believe I just did that. Like, it should have been really a 4 at worst. And that was kind of my problem all week. I struggled on the greens. I think everybody did, but I missed so many opportunities, and like I think I counted the morning round on Wednesday. I think it was 5 or 6 putts inside of like 7 feet that, realistically probably should have made at least 4 or 5 of them. So they just add up. And that was the theme throughout the week, was that I was just missing makeable putts, and I was hitting the ball good. But yeah, the tee shot on 12 was probably the most important shot of the week in the afternoon on Wednesday. Coming off of a par on 11, which is always kind of a dagger. It's a gettable hole, and there's not too many birdies when coming down the stretch. So you really have to take advantage of 7 through 14 is really the stretch where you got to make up a lot of ground. And like Stamberger did the first day, where just rattling off birdies. So yeah, that hurt a little bit, but putting it in the fairway with driver on 12, just putting it 60 yards out with a pretty straightforward pitch to get up to that top tier, and then to make the putt was nice. And then 13, hitting a really solid drive and then chipping it up to probably 10 feet and making that was huge. And at that point I was like, all right, I'm in it. I know what to do. And then 15 obviously happened, and things could have gotten away from me, but I still knew, like, I know what these holes can do. I just did it. Somebody else could easily do it. So keep your head down, focus. And then honestly on 16, I definitely hit two of my better shots from the week. They were, perfect driver down the middle, and then just this little flighted 8-iron into the wind. And honestly, I thought it was going to be like 2 feet. I hit it and was like, that's perfect. And it landed, kind of skipped and went over the green. And I'm like, oh my God, like I thought it was going to be a chance to get one back. And then turns out I'm fighting for par and then missing a short putt and having to make a 4 or 5 footer for bogey. And I'm like, all right, I'm still in it, because I know, these holes are hard, especially when it's blowing 15 miles an hour. So head down, continue to do it. Made a good par on 17, got up and down, and then 18 obviously was a nice birdie. So
Jack, watching you play the 18th hole, it was incredible. Doing it on Monday and then watching it live on on the feed. I'm just gonna say, the balls it takes to take driver out when you're up a bunch in a playoff like that, and drive the green and be so close is amazing to me. Was there any thought of doing something else, or you're just, this is what I do, I know that I do this, I'm taking all the bunkers out of play, the worst case I'm just up near the green?
yeah, I actually went to my caddy, and I was like, there's no chance I'm hitting iron. Like, it's because it's honestly more nerve-wracking hitting an iron off that tee for me than hitting driver. Like, it's very easy. You got the trees on the right and the mounds, which are no good. Like, you're probably at that point, you're probably chipping back into the fairway, wedging it on, and there's just so much that can happen. The OB sneaks in there pretty close if you get a little quick on an iron shot, hook one. It's very easy to hit it and have it run OB and hit the cart path, all that stuff. The bunkers are not easy, so there's so many factors that I'm just standing there. I'm like, I'm not even gonna entertain those options. So got up, took out the driver, and it's so wide up there. You can hit it right. Even the OB opens up on the left. So if you do get a little quick on one and it goes a little left at the cart path, it's still gonna be fine.
Right.
So
You're hitting it far enough where you're taking that out a little bit.
right. And at that point it's just like I'm probably gonna fly the last bunker on the left. So that'll run all the way up to that green side bunker. And then if I hit it perfect, it's, just short right of the green, which obviously I did in regulation. I did on Monday too. And actually on Monday, I hit a really good drive, had it just short right of the green, had a straightforward pitch. And I actually hit the pitch too cleanly. Like, it came out really low and spinny. And I was upstairs on the terrace after, and everybody I was talking to, I was like, that chip, I think I left it like 15, 20 feet short. I was like, that chip's going to keep me up tonight. Like, all the bogeys, I made, like, those were whatever. It was that one chip that kept me up Monday night because 18 straightforward pitch. It's when you want to get close, but
You
it is
know,
what
it kept me up too. I really was disappointed in that effort. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that you did something like that.
it's one of those ones that just, like, I mean, it jumps right at you, and it's like, oh, it's a little into the wind. You have some green to work with. It's perfect for just a little high spinny. And it's like you're licking your chops to hit it, and you hit it, and you're like, oh, I really wish I could do that again. And it was nice because I had a similar pitch on or chip shot on 18 in regulation on Wednesday. So I was able to do a little better the second time, which is nice.
I think that's the difference between Jack and I, and really the only difference between Jack and I is that I'm taking pitching wedge off the tee on 18 and going wedge, 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 maybe even wedge again until I get up to the green. There's just no chance I'm taking driver out there.
And Jack's playing through you. But Jack, like, so when you go back to the final round, and then Jack Simon makes that big birdie on 17 to tie you, that was a clutch birdie for someone like him down a stretch because he really wasn't playing well. I mean, he had made a double on 6, and he made bogeys on 12 and 13, so he was kind of like falling back, and then he had that tough stretch. And I think when you look at his final round and he played 15, 16, 17, 18 at 1 under par, like, that's a huge undertaking, knowing that, like, he needed to get 1 under in there. And then going to the playoff, like, what was the mentality teeing off on 16? Like, I know you both didn't drive it necessarily well off the tee on 16, but he got it worse than you did. What was the thought process going into 16? Did you think, like, 3 pars was going to get it done?
I didn't really have an expectation for what the number would be in the playoff. I will start with, Jack played fantastic all week one of 3 guys under par at a very, difficult golf course, is very impressive. And, he's definitely going to put his name on the trophy at some point. I've been in his shoes. I've lost in a playoff in the State Am to Dylan Stein back at Echo Lake. I mean, I know the feeling. It sucks. It's, but it also, it leads you to this. It leads you to, a few years later, you come back and you win it. So I have no doubt that he's, going to put his name on the trophy. He's a very good player, and that last stretch in regulation, playing those holes 1 under par, under pressure, is very impressive. And, that's something he can take a lot of positives from, which is nice. And I think he'll bounce back at the State Open and be a contender for sure. So, but yeah, there's no expectation as in first score in the playoff that you don't really know what to expect. Yeah, they're very tough holes, but they could also, like Jack did in regulation, you could play them under par. So you just never know. So it's basically just play match play and hit some good shots and see where it takes you. And that's probably the local knowledge. I hit a worse tee shot, which is better on 16. The more you miss it, the flatter those hills get. And I still didn't have a fantastic lie, but, it was enough to get over the creek and put myself with one of those pitches that's just straight into the wind. You can just fly it there. And, I've been where he was so many times, and what lie you get in that fescue in those mounds. And I kind of knew that once I saw that it was in there, it was like probably going to be a chip out. And then same thing on 17, that waist area, that those bunkers are, they're dead.
17 might have been worse.
Yeah, no, it from the look of it, it definitely was. I mean, I avoid the waist area on 17 at all costs, and I changed completely how I play the hole. I'm hitting 3-iron now. I'm not hitting anything more than that. There's just no point. Because you hit it in left on 17 of that waist area, you're probably making it best 5, like, realistically.
Yeah, and the fact that he had to go backwards on basically on a chip out, and it still hardly advanced the golf ball, and he's going the other direction, I think speaks to, like, how difficult it is when you do miss it left on 17, which, then he makes triple on 17 after making double on 16. You're walking into 18 with basically a 5-shot lead. And I mean, from that point on, I think that kind of ties into like Ryan's point earlier about still having, the guts to say, hey, listen, this is my plan. I'm taking out the big stick and I'm driving the green. And then to find out like where that ball ended up and to say like, when you see you're like, it's 10 feet below the hole, correct? For eagle. Like you probably can't place the ball any better.
It was ideal.
I mean, I
know. It's something that won't probably happen again, at least in. I just can't see myself like having it work out that perfect ever again. Honestly,
I mean, to be able to have the driver hit the green so softly that it doesn't run past or run through. Like it looked. I don't know. I didn't see where it landed, but I saw where it ended, and there's no way to like run it up there. That front bunker.
Do you know if it bounced over the bunker or landed on the green?
No, so it landed short right of the greenside bunker, and it literally, I think everybody was saying it came within probably 6 inches of that bunker, and then it caught the right edge of the green and went up and kind of did the loop.
Okay.
But that's not even close to what I expected. I mean, I hit the drive and I knew it was good. I knew it was down the middle, and I was expecting it to be just short right of the green where, it is 99% of the time, which is what I was expecting. And then walking up, I didn't see it, so I got within probably 75 yards of the green and was like, where's my ball? Like it must have, ended up in the bunker or something, had a bad kick. And then I looked over, I think I saw Tyler, the assistant pro, and he kind of just looked at me and I think he was like, it's 6 feet or something, or he yelled something over, and I was like, you're kidding. Like like no way. Like I've never done this. I cannot remember ever driving the green from the black tee. I think I've maybe done it from like the white tee, but I can't even remember a time I've really done that. But yeah, that is something that probably won't happen again for a little bit. So I really when I got up there, I was very happy to see that it was on there, on probably 8 feet from the hole, 10 feet from the hole for eagle, which was nice.
Perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, nonetheless. And it's even, I think the icing on the cake too, when you do something like that, is the finishing hole there at Manasquan River with everybody watching from not only the first tee, but up on, the deck area, the patio, overlooking everything. I think the idea of, and to steal the NGSGA's phrase, like the hometown hero doing what he did on the final hole in front of everybody is like, after you make that final putt, that sigh of relief or that look on your face really was like, I did it. Wow. Like explain that emotion after you make that final putt.
Well, first off, I really, really, really wanted to make that putt.
I thought that might have been the first comment.
I mean, one, you don't hit a tee shot like that ever. So when you do hit it, you're like, all right, I actually have to like,
let's take advantage
this thing to make it worth it. And then I actually hit a really good putt. That was a putt I was proud I hit. Like hit it right down my line, just missed it a touch high, missed on the pro side. So it was a good putt. Definitely wish it would have went in, but it is what it is. And but yeah, we have Manasquan is a really nice setup with everybody watching on the terrace, the porch, the first tee box being right there, and it's elevated so everybody can see the hole, what's going on with putts and everything. So getting over that 4-inch putter, whatever it was, before I hit it, I knew like it started kind of I started getting a little emotional and thinking about what I did, and just proud of myself for staying in it and overcoming the pressure and all that stuff meant the world to me. And then to share it with the membership, family, friends, girlfriend, just everybody. To share with them is incredible, and it's a tournament I've been looking forward to since I knew we were having it. So, yeah, the emotion definitely came out of me, and I still can't believe it happened, which still trying to wrap my head around it, but it was emotional for sure. And then seeing everybody afterwards and talking with everybody, just made it that much more special.
Matera's Italian Market and Catering Company is located in the heart of Rutherford, New Jersey at 72 Park Avenue and has everything you need for an authentic Italian table. Recently celebrating its 10-year anniversary, Matera's Italian Market brings all your senses alive as you walk in the door. Imported retail products, cheeses and cold cuts, freshly baked bread, and the creamiest fresh mozzarella. All can be ordered on the Matera's On Park app in Apple and Google stores. Above the market, a private space called The Loft can be reserved for intimate family parties all the way to corporate events. So give them a follow on Instagram at Matera's Italian Market. Stop by and say ciao. Matera's. You'll walk in a stranger, leave as family. And I think to put a bow on it, I think the idea that, Manasquan River has not hosted the State Am since 93. And when it was held at Manasquan River in 93, the winner of the event was Mr. Housen. And to know that, like, when 93 came around, he found a way to get it done at the home course. And then, years later, it's back at Manasquan River. And the hometown hero does it as well. Like, I think being in that category with a name like that, I mean, I know you and I both truly understand the things that Mr. Housen has done, not only for, Manasquan River, but likewise in the state of New Jersey. Like, being in that same
Absolutely. No,
aura with a name like that, that's got to
just being on a
speak
list
volumes
with
as well.
him, being a winner of the State Am with Mr. Housen's incredible. Doing it at Manasquan, um, like Mr. Housen's incredible. And, their whole family is just incredible. Bob Housen's done so much for us and taught us so much with golf, um and then Chris and Pat are, both incredible individuals who, are so supportive, and they do so much for us, for our family. So we can't thank them enough for everything they do for us, and just so happy to, know them and get to spend so much time with them is incredible. And so yeah, to be kind of, connected to them is always a good thing, and we're just so happy and thrilled to, know such a great family and be a part of it. And he was actually, I think he was the good luck charm. That's when it started kind of turning around, when I saw him on 7. So hit a drive right down the middle, hit a really good drive, actually. That was one of my longer drives of the week. It's not every day that on 7, a 655 or 660-yard hole you hit driver 4-iron. But I saw him as we were waiting for the green to clear, and he's kind of sitting in the cart with Dimmick, and just looking over, like, oh man, like, the legends here, got to perform. And then hit it on the green. I'm walking down, and they're kind of sitting in the cart watching by the green, and kind of walk over, say hi, and he just looked at me, and Bob Housen does, he is some of the best, motivational, get your ass in gear type comments, and he just looked at me and just said something along the lines of, like, let's go, come on, make this putt, or something like that. And so hearing that is really cool, and it's something I'll remember forever.
So I think to Mike's point from when we talked about it, about the local knowledge, to have Manasquan host this and its last 2 times have members from Manasquan win it, I think goes to show about that local knowledge, even in the 30 years in between that it did. That's truly, not everywhere you go does that play such a big role, but clearly it does here at Manasquan.
No, absolutely. Local knowledge is huge. There's so many things at Manasquan that it's very deceptive. There's some, especially with the greens. There's a lot of little slopes that normally you wouldn't see. but playing it so many times, like the seventh green, ninth green, those are just greens that, are so difficult to get a gauge on if you don't really know what's going on. Because they look like they're severely sloped back to front. And, especially nine green, the front part, like you would never expect a ball to break towards the river and the ocean. Like you would just never think that in a million years. You're just thinking, oh, it's back to front, it's going to break towards the front of the green. So just little stuff like that. And then knowing, playing the golf course so many times and kind of experimenting what shots I can hit, where certain clubs go. Like one is a good example. Like a lot of people are just kind of chipping a, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 iron kind of out short of that last bunker on the right, or they're hitting it over the left bunker and kind of having like an 80-yard wedge. And for me, it's I can take out 3 iron and get it, front edge of the green if I hit it perfect. If not, it's just kind of just short right, like I was the last round. I had a really straightforward pitch, made birdie. So it's just little things like that where playing it so many times and you experiment and you know what you're comfortable with, you know what you're not comfortable with. I was actually really disappointed. Normally on 4 is another one where people just hit 4, 5, 3 iron, kind of get it out there, put a wedge in their hand, and it is a blind wedge shot. And I'm not a huge fan of blind wedge shots off an uphill slope to certain pins, especially the right pin. And if that hole's any downwind, I normally just hit driver and I can fly those bunkers. I can hit the downslope. And, a couple days leading up to the event where it was firm, we hadn't gotten any rain, I was getting the ball within probably 15 feet of the front edge. So I'm actually really upset that the hole was never downwind for us, because I really wanted to hit driver, like more than anything. That was like the hole that I wanted to do it. Even Dimmick, I was talking to Dimmick before the event, and I had mentioned that I wanted to hit driver there, and he was like so against it, and he was not for it. He was definitely letting me know it too. Where he's like, that's just so dumb to even consider. Like, just hit the fairway, put a wedge on the green, make par. I'm like, yeah, but I can get it within 15 feet of the green, so why not do that? And
Right. Right. Then that puts a putter in my hand.
right, like I can make 4 from there. Who knows if I have a wedge shot, maybe miss the green right. Actually, I did do it once too. I missed the green right in that right green side bunker to a back right pin, and it was, I mean, unbelievable up and down. But if I had driver, I never would have been there. So always gotta look at it. But yeah, like it's just those little things where you play the course so much, you can kind of have an advantage over certain shots and certain holes. Like I think 12 is another one where if you don't play it very often, you can easily just kind of chip something out there. OB is, right off the right side. Like that's another one where I can get up and just hit a really good driver and put it greenside. So
I think
It's good problems to have. It's good problems to have.
yeah, we should do every event at Manasquan. Life would be really
Listen, and no offense, I'm sure a lot of people would echo that, Jack.
yeah,
I'll be dead
I would
honest.
hope so.
I talked to a lot of the players after the tournament, and because obviously, and I know this comes up very, very often, that Ryan's never played the golf course, and I live and breathe the golf course. So I always like to hear what people have to say to see if my opinion is an unbiased one. And everybody that I talked to, and I talked to a lot of the people that were in contention, that were leaders after certain days, and everybody ranted and raved about how good the golf course was, how nice of a spot it is. So I don't know if you'd get anybody that said like this was a quirky, it was a junk golf course in terms of like it tried to play games on you. Like it was a fair test. It was a hard test, but it was a very enjoyable one as well.
No, it was fair. I mean, Matt Morrow does an incredible job. And they really do get excited for, hosting these events, like to kind of show off what they can do. And they proved it. The greens were fantastic. The rough was very, very penal. But it was fair. Like the pins were in very good spots. They were very difficult, but I don't think they really tricked them up at all, which is really nice to see that, we don't have to trick it up in order for the golf course to play difficult. And that's the nice thing about Manasquan is the different factors that, the wind plays a huge role. If it gets a little, firm and fast, that plays a huge role in it. So hats off to Matt and his staff for, the job they did getting it ready and having it play as difficult as it did. And but it was fair.
Jack, one of the more
Right. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say one of the more impressive things I saw was you on the driving range before on that Monday, and again you've lived on that driving range, but watching you hit like throwing sling hooks at that pole that's at the end and being disappointed when you didn't hit the pole is one of the crazier things ever. Because like I would be, and most people would be excited. Ooh, I hit that well. Like it moved really hard. Like you're slinging these like low stinger slings, like hooking them, then you're slicing them, then you're hitting them high and aiming at the pole, and like disappointed when you hit the pole. That was
Yeah.
that was fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. That was one of. I'm gonna take that away as one of the highlights of my day there.
I mean, that's what, makes golf fun. Like doing that stuff. I mean, it puts you in that mindset of like just messing around. And I can't tell you how many times I've been on that driving range and whoever's there, be like, oh, I bet I could snap hook it from aiming at like one green all the way over to the blue flag, which is the last one on the left. Like I bet I can do that. And I've done it so many times where I just get up there and I'm just slinging hooks. And because you can't really do anything else. Like you can hit, stock seven, or I can hit stock 7, 8 irons, and they're getting to the fence. So you gotta find other ways to, warm up the body a little bit. So I mean those sling hooks, like they're warming up the entire body. Like you gotta rotate, you gotta be creative. And they're full swings. Like I mean I'm probably swinging it as maybe not as hard as a driver, but it's pretty close. Like I'm really swinging at them. Um, yeah, so just kind of doing that, and it also helps with like hitting cuts, then hitting draws, then hitting high, then low. It really does sync up the body, which is nice. And that's my only goal is to get warm. That's what I mean. Growing up in Manasquan, we don't really have much of a range. The range is used to get warm. It's not to practice, technique or something, where you're putting alignment sticks down, you're really working on something. It's more of just like you're getting ready to go out and play the golf course. So that's how I was treating it.
How I think that's usually looked at as a negative. I would imagine that you can't hit driver, like you said, you're hitting stock 7 or 8 iron and you're through the fairway. But being able to work from a youngster, being able to work on all these other shots that like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the range and I'm going to hit balls, like rather than just pounding 8 irons because that's what you want to work on, working on things like hitting hooks, hitting fades, hitting draws, like working on that, on those small differences between like this is going to be a 30-yard hook to a 10-yard draw, and then the reverse. That must have been essential for you growing up to work on all the different shots that you have in your bag.
Yeah, no, for sure. But look at Jerry Wall. I mean, he's like the prime example of it. Like us being not able to hit driver, it definitely, and he would agree with this. It's definitely not one of his greater clubs, and I mean it shows. But that kid can hit a 40-yard hook. He can hit a slice. He can hit a high shot. He can hit a low shot. Um, and he can hit them more than I can, which is pretty crazy because when he caddies for me, he kind of gets in those, if I'm in a situation where I got to hit one of those shots, he's like the riskiest one he's probably recommending because he knows he can hit it. But honestly, that's what makes golf fun. The creative, being creative and, seeing what you can kind of do and push limits a little bit. That's what makes golf enjoyable. That's what, brings us back because you never know when you're going to get one of those spots on a golf course. And then to be able to pull it off, it's like the most rewarding feeling. So yeah, I mean, sometimes we wish we had a better range where we can, actually work on stuff. But at the same time, like we wouldn't be how we are without that range. So, and I mean, the golf course is so good. You can go out on the golf course and drop balls if you need to in order to work on stuff. But that range has played a big role, and those mats have definitely played a big role in our lives. I know that I've had some wrist soreness a time or two in my life. So.
Yeah, I found that so interesting that you've been able to take a negative and turn it into a positive, which has been really cool. I'd also say this: if you want to get creative and work on those shots, you and me, alternate shot, I can put you in those creative positions all day long.
I'm all for it.
Listen,
that's my game, man. My entire game is just
fairway. I think you're playing us.
Jack, you say that now, and then you think you've seen all the parts at Manasquan, right? Yeah, you're like, I've lived it. And I'm telling you, you would find some spots that you'd be like, wow, I'm really at Manasquan River.
Mike and I played a week or so ago, and I don't think I was in my own fairway once for the entire day. So I got to see a lot of the course, which is nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, especially an alternate shot when you're not hitting the next one. But listen, Jack, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today. I know that your schedule is beyond hectic. I know, the state open's going on really today. Today's Wednesday in the sense of when it's coming out. Hopefully you're playing well. But then you got the Western Am, and listen, I hope, when that's over, you're able to sit back and enjoy your summer before you head back to Texas Tech. But like we always say, you're always welcome on the show, and we appreciate you coming on the show, and congrats again on winning the state Am.
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. As always. So it's always fun to get to come on here and talk golf with you guys.
I think we're gonna have to, how Saturday Night Live has the 5 timers jackets for people that have hosted the show 5 times. We're gonna have to, Mike, maybe something we're gonna have to think about. Jack's creeping up there. Yeah, Jack, thank you so much. And I do also want to say I appreciate you being so open. When I was out there, I tried not to bother you. Obviously, I was following a group of my guys, and to be open enough that you wanted to chat on the course before the round, it was really again, it really kind of shows the person you are. So thank you for that, and good luck at the Open and at the Western Open too.
Appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks for coming to watch. It's always nice to see familiar faces and hang out and talk to. And yeah, thanks for everything. So
no problem, bud. Be good. Good luck.